This is a fancy turntable video, but I'm going to go up on a rant first because I'm just a little bit pissed off because some truck driver just about ran me over today and another car. There was another wreck with another overheight truck that went under a bridge. I don't know what's going on with these guys, but they're incompetent. Check this out. I'm not going to play nice here and do what, say, Global TV would do and blur the license plate or anything. Watch this truck. You can see I've clearly got the advanced screen, full speed, right through a red. Let's look at that again in slow-mo. Now this is half speed. The guy in the lead car there, he has no idea how close he came to being killed. This is ridiculous. So this happened today at 1:11, not 12:11 as my GPS shows, because my GPS is off by an hour. I haven't set it to daylight time. Here he goes again. This is the full frame size, and the back camera is coming right up. This happened right where our new shiny new casino that's just about to open is. That look cool? Anyway, here's the back shot. As you can see, this guy just didn't even try to slow down. I hope his employer is watching and can identify this guy and maybe take him off the road. Him and a few these other truck drivers, because we've had so many truck involved incidents lately, usually involving something too high going under a bridge. This time I have a turntable. This is a sound cymbal by Panta. It's an RPH220 quartz lock 3-motor semi-automatic turntable. I noticed that the power button is kind of shot on it, and someone has taken it upon themselves just to make themselves a simplified power button holder that will hold the power switch on. The lid is not fastened down. There's no hinge on here. So let's just see what this is doing. If anything, it's all kinds of dirt and dust on the unit. Well, it turns. Is this a belt or a direct drive? This is probably a direct drive unit. And this is, oh, very nice. Very nice. I like this already. So our stator is underneath. This is our frequency generator here. You'll see it on the edges there, and it has a magnet. Similar to how Panasonic SL M1 and SL 1200 operate. So the rotor itself is the actual platter, and this is our 3-phase motor is underneath. I like this design. These are generally pretty good. It spins. We'll check the speed to make sure that it's spinning at the correct speed. So I'll do that. Actually, I think this has got it's got I saw a strobe on here, but I don't see where to look for the strobe. Look underneath the chassis. Is that an optical sensor by chance? Let's see here. Anyway, let's check the speed. I'll just use my little speed app on my phone. It don't get any more accurate than that. How about 45? $33. Speed-wise, it's right on the money. Let's see if it'll play. Well, it's playing. Queuing arm is not working, a queuing button. We'll press stop. Will it stop? So the automatic is not operating. Oh, that time it did. Maybe the switches are bad. Stop. Lift. Okay, so these switches do not appear to be working correctly. So, we have our work cut out for us. Pull the bottom off the unit and just see why the automatic is not working. See if we can get this to operate. All the screws out, the bottom lifts off to expose the control circuitry. We already know that somebody's been into this unit because they didn't reconnect whatever that ground was grounding. That was just lying free inside here. Here's our control circuits for the arm lifting and arm positioning. It's more than likely using an optical sensor. It actually is. You can see the optical sensors right here. Here's that power switch that's kind of buggered up. Just want to see what happens when I press the buttons. I can see a belt, or it's turning. So the arm lift circuit's actually working. I can see the cam gear is turning. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's this motor here. It runs and stops, and I press the button again. One of those should be to raise and the other to lower the arm. Maybe the arm is just sticking. I'm gonna get some boxes and prop this unit up so that I can work on it. So there's no bladder on here now. The motor might fall apart when I turn it on. The bladder's removed, but the motor's in place. This is a dummy. It doesn't serve any purpose whatsoever. I'll show you what this is. This is a dummy. As I say, it's there's no power or anything going to it. This would have been like for speed strobe. So what this would have been is a neon light array and a couple of mirrors so that you could see the strobe. But unfortunately on this one here, this model obviously didn't have that feature and they've blocked it out. So I wonder, there's nothing connected here. I wonder if there's actually any neon lights inside this unit. I bet you there are. It looks like it's been soldered down at one point, but not on this one because the front cover does not have a slot. But let's just pop this out and see if there's actually any neon bulbs on here. I bet you there are. I bet you there's either neon bulbs or LEDs. Oh, they're LEDs. There you go. So it's got 3 LEDs in series that would normally illuminate the strobe disc, which would normally be reflected, but in this case there's nothing to reflect it through because, as I say, this model didn't have that feature. So they're using the same base for a couple different models and they just bolted the part on. It's interesting that there are solder pads that have been soldered. Like you can see, looks like a wire's been disconnected. Anyway, let's power this unit up again. I want to see what happens when I push some buttons. I want to see if that second motor tries to operate. So the motor for the arm lifter is moving. If I move the arm out to start the motor spinning, which is now spinning, what happens if I push the stop button? So if I hit the arm lifter button, you can see the arm lifter belt spinning away. What about this one? Will this one move as well? Nothing. Wait a second, okay. Oh! Interesting. So it did try to move it, but the arm did not move. I moved the arm over to its running position and I hit the stop button on the front. It lifts the disc up, and then this motor, this one tries to rotate to bring the arm back, but it's not doing anything. So that means something in this control is not working. Let's just pop this apart. I just want to take a look and see whether there's anything that can I think it probably works similar to how that Pioneer worked. It probably turns on an electromagnet to connect the cam to the tone arm so that it can bring it back. More than likely that's how it works. Most of these work similar ways. The fact that there are wires disconnected in here is a pretty good indication that somebody else has looked at this in the past and probably said, forget it, scrap it. This was basically brought to me and said you can keep this thing for parts. So let's just take a look at what's underneath here. So this wheel turns. This is a magnet. It's supposed to turn on and it will attract the, this is the tone arm. So when the tone arm moves, it's unplugged now, when the tone arm moves over, when it wants to pick up the record, it turns on this one here, which is going to be the arm lifter that lifts the tone arm up, and then this one here probably energizes the electromagnet, which would then be attracted to this disc to move the arm back. That's how this works. That electromagnet has to come on, and then it just through magnetic coupling moves the arm back to its rest position. That's how that works on this. Now I can plug this in, go through the motions, we'll see the arm lifter lift when I push the button, and we'll see this turn. So if you can see this is already turning. So record is playing. There you go, you see. Electromagnet comes on, magnetizes this disc, which then will in effect turn that back like that, and then this turns to drop the arm back down. That's pushing on this pin. That's how it's supposed to work. You'll see this gear here has a ramp on it. That ramp is what pushes the pin to raise the arm up and drop it. So first things first, let's see whether this coil over here has continuity. I see it's got some of that wonderful glue on there, but we'll check to make sure that this coil does in fact have continuity. It's connected right up here. So we can check this and see if a voltage is applied to this coil to try to move the arm. So let's measure the coil. 135 ohms, so that is probably okay, that coil. Let's just put the motor on, or put the power on, and see if we get any voltage on there when it tries to move the arm back. .24 volts. When I stop it, it goes to 0. And And now that should have set the arm back down. If I put it back onto here, we'll start this again. Record's playing, I push the stop button. It lifts the record up, and then it applies 24 volts to energize the coil to bring the arm back, and the arm is not moving. I guess the next step is to see whether the magnet's actually becoming magnetic, because when you apply a DC voltage to this coil, this should form a magnet, and something magnetic should stick to it. It's not turning the tone arm. So let's just see. I'll hit the button and we'll see whether, and this has become magnetic, quite magnetic actually. As you can see, and when I move the tone arm away and stop, you see, so it's actually working. If I hit that button again, okay, there, now it's magnetic. When I move the tone arm back to the stop position, it shuts off. So this is working. Why is it not moving the tone arm? I don't believe it, I got spider webs on my camera here. It must be the magnetic. There must be the little disc here that gets attracted to the magnet. It sits within a few millimeters of it, but when the magnet comes on, this disc should click and snap up against it to turn. I think we got a problem here. I'm just gonna remove the clip here and we'll clean that up and make sure that nothing's gummed up on this mechanism. With my luck, I'll pop this off and everything will fall apart. That's stuck pretty good. This is our problem, I'm sure. This sets the position for sure for when it's home. This screw in here is what's holding this plate from coming off, so I can clean under it, because I think it's sticking on something. Maybe it's got some dirt or lubricant or something in there and it's causing it to stick, or it could be just some corrosion. Who knows? This thing is pretty old. Oh yeah, there's gunge and dirt in here, that's for sure. See, what would happen normally when the electromagnet comes on, that would be attracted like that and stick to this magnet, or the electromagnet, which would then rotate, and then when it's done, it releases it. The spring pushes it back away. This is obviously going to set where the record picks up at. Stop point right there. Now this is just the rough setting. Once I've got the tone arm actually working and moving, then I can set it up for the proper pickup position for when the record gets to the end. Getting pretty warm out today. heard on the radio there's another heat wave coming for us here, expecting temperatures of mid-30s, they're saying, Celsius. For everyone in the world except for Americans that understand the metric system. Okay. That lifts up nice and easy now. Of course the spring, right? But see whether it does anything different. Mount it back in and give it a go and see whether it made any difference to the operation of this unit. Okay, so let's try this out. Remember, I've just cleaned off that magnet assembly because it was kind of sticking a bit. So we turn on the turntable and the record plays. The record gets to the end. Okay, now I just have to make sure I'm in the right position. Let's put a record on and make sure that it actually picks up at the end of the record. So I may have to make some adjustments, but we are getting there. Certainly getting there, that's for sure. I have another record I should grab that I can probably get away with playing, because so much stuff you can't, right? But I have a record of John F. Kennedy making a presidential speech in 1963. I think I could probably get away with playing that. But let me just play this one. And we'll see if it picks up at the end of the record like it's supposed to. This will tell me how far I'm off as far as my adjustment goes. So I got to adjust it a bit. Where is it going to pick up? It's going to pick up right there. So I have to bring this over just a couple of degrees, which is easy to do. See, some turntables would have a window right here that you can see through to see the speed, but not this one. Okay, let me just make that adjustment for that auto stop so that it picks up when it gets to the end of the record. And then this one here should be pretty much done. Nice and simple repair. You just have to know what you're looking for, right? So this is just made by adjusting the position of this lever a little bit so that this is the end of record detector here, I believe, and when it gets to the end of the record, it opens the optical sensor. I'll probably do this adjustment actually without getting in there because I can reach it right through here, so I don't have to take that apart. Okay, I'm a little bit too soon now, so we'll bring it back just a bit. Just want to get an idea where it's picking up. So it's picking up a little bit too soon. Let's see if I can just reach under and make an adjustment. Yeah, I think I'm probably pretty close. I can't play this because club music. But there's the end of the record. We'll see the arms start to move in, and then it picks up. Okay, so that record, I picked this one because this record is cut quite close to the middle of the record. I'll try my other one as well. This is a more conventional record that's not cut in quite nearly as far, and I can play this one. So That's what it's supposed to do. I'm wondering if this switch on the front that says 30 or 17, whether maybe that's got to do with what size it turns the motor on. No, I guess it makes no difference. This is not an automatic turntable, so I don't know why they have the, it's a semi-automatic, why they have the size button on the front. It doesn't make any sense why they would have a size button on the front of this thing, because it's not an automatic turntable. It does two things. It lifts the arm and it has a stop button. So if I push lift, it lifts the arm up so that I can move the arm over, and I tap the lift button again and it drops the arm down on the record and the record starts playing. If I hit the stop button, it picks the arm up and it rejects back to the beginning, and then it drops it down. If the record is playing to the end, when the arm moves in, it picks it up and it rejects it and stops. That's what this turntable does, and now that's what it's doing. So that is fixed as far as I'm concerned. This is a success. I have to laugh at the crude way of making a power button work though. When the switch is shot and the switch won't stick in, rather than change the switch, somebody just went ahead and drilled a hole in it. I'm not even going to bother touching that, because even if I put a new switch in, it's still going to have a hole drilled in the front where someone put a screw through it. Hey, it works. If you're wondering where that extra ground wire went, I have a sneaking suspicion it's supposed to be sandwiched right here where the paint has been removed. That's a ground screw that goes in right there under the base to ground the base, which would make the most amount of sense considering the fact that it has the making sure I'm not clobbering the arm here with anything. That's where that goes. So we're going to put that screw and ground it properly like that. That's how that was grounded, I'm sure. One final test before I put this one away. It has one hinge. One hinge is all it's got. There we go. It's working. Excellent. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.